Hello, and welcome back to Bay Area Housewife of True Crime. We are at part 2 of the Lakessia Edwards case. As a reminder, topics may be triggering. Viewer and listener discretion is very strongly advised. The people mentioned are innocent until proven guilty in court. After this real-life Llorona threw her 3-year-old son, O'Shea Tiandre Love, into the Mare Island Strait in March of 1996, Lakessia Edwards faced 25 years to life if convicted. In May of 1996, a Solano County judge rejected the defense attorney's argument that Lakessia was, quote, too confused to understand what she had done, unquote. Judge Alan Carter ruled that there was enough evidence to indicate that she intended to kill her son. Cora Lindsay, Lakessia's mom, testified that on March 2nd of 1996, she asked her daughter where her grandbaby was, and that Lakessia told her, and I quote, she had took him to the bay and dropped him. She said, "Mama, you and Daddy told me to do it." I told her, "No, honey, it wasn't us," unquote. Lakessia was a known crack cocaine user. Her mom said that she did not know for sure if she was using in the days before she murdered her son, but that Lakessia had been paranoid and withdrawn over the last year and had complained about voices in her head. Cora further explained that her daughter had been rearranging her house multiple times a day and rage cleaning. Vallejo Police Detective Matthew Meredith testified that Lakessia had admitted that she dropped her son into the water and watched him sink. In fact, she had been thinking about doing it for several days. Public defender Melanie Carver, who was representing this real-life Llorona, actually said the following, and I quote, "It's clear my client was suffering from a very confused state of mind. The fact that someone dropped someone in the water doesn't prove they intended to kill them," unquote. And really, a mom who intentionally throws their toddler into the water and watches them drown doesn't prove intent? That is a wild and bold statement, but I guess desperate times comes with desperate measures when you're defending these types of people. Thankfully, the judge responded with, and I quote, "I think the natural outcome of dropping a 3-year-old boy into the bay from a seawall is that death will result. The intent is shown by the act itself." The intent is shown by the act itself, exactly. After her arrest, she told psychiatrists that she heard voices in her head telling her to do bad things like drugs, alcohol, self-harm, and to harm others, specifically to harm her own child. The voices told her to drop her baby above the railing into the Napa River in Vallejo, California on March 1st of 1996. She told them that she had started having hallucinations when she dropped out of high school in the 11th grade when she was pregnant with O'Shea. 2 psychiatrists testified that she was mentally severely unwell and had since been prescribed both antidepressants and antipsychotic medication. Lakessia was sadly a victim of sexual abuse starting at the age of just 9 years old. Dr. Herb McGrew wrote that the voices in Lakessia's head were getting louder in the past year. In his report, he wrote the following, and I quote, "She was being told by the voices to do bad things, to hurt herself, to kill herself by shooting up crank and alcohol, to kill herself with pills," unquote. She believed the devil was talking to her and that she was under the power of a supernatural force. Dr. Murray Eland testified that Lakessia cried whenever she talked about her son and that she tried to unalive herself by slashing her wrists. Dr. Eland wrote the following in his report. She indicated that her son was the most important thing in her life, but the voices made it seem as though throwing him into the water would lead him to a better life. End quote. In August of 1996, she pleaded no contest to second-degree murder charges, and Solano County Superior Court Judge William Harrison found her not guilty by reason of insanity. Since then, and as of this recording, Lakessia Edwards was committed to Patton State Hospital. Her dad, a then 42-year-old man named Carl Alexander, told reporters, and I quote, "Everyone around knew that something was wrong with her. We took her to the docs and everything. It didn't help. Though we never went as far as taking her to a psychiatrist." We've reached the end of today's episode over at Bay Area Housewife of True Crime. Thank you so much for coming down the rabbit hole where I currently live. Stay tuned for the next episode on the next case. Make sure to follow me on socials. My Instagram is at bayarea.housewife. The podcast's Instagram is at Bay Area HW of True Crime. You could listen to full episodes of these recordings on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, Bay Area Housewife of True Crime. If you like my content, do me a solid and rate my show wherever you listen. As always, I respect and accept your opinions. I welcome all comments, questions, case suggestions, etc. Call me, beat me at yayareahousewife@gmail.com. And yes, that's yay area with the Y, like E40 said. I'll see you chismosas y chismosos in the next. Adios.